A very good evening to my dear MOS members and the ophthalmic fraternity who have joined today. We have a very interesting subject for us today. Friends, as you know, my dream project was the mentor and mentee project that we had launched on the 29th of May. And we have about 45 mentors and 45 mentees. They are the part of the group. So I had a chat with Dr. Rohit Shetty, who readily agreed to give us a few tips because he's been mentoring hundreds of students as a vice chairman of Narayan Nethralaya. I'm so happy that we have with him. He has now decided not to have a regular presentation. He would like to have a proper live interaction. And we have with us the star moderator, Dr. Natasha Pahuja, as a star student who is going to moderate the whole session. With us also we have Dr. Rajesh Joshi, the Honorary Secretary of the Maharashtra Ophthalmological Society. I have shared the Zoom link with the mentor and the mentee group. They might join here or the audience through the YouTube and the Facebook. Welcome, Dr. Rohit Shetty, sir, to our webinar. And so nice that you have accepted our invite and you have been there. I'm sure everybody is going to benefit with all your experience. So now I request Dr. Natasha to do the formal introduction and have the live interaction with sir. Over to you, Natasha.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Dr. Rohit.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
I think at the outset, I'm extremely glad and personally honored that I have been given this task to introduce my mentor. Um, there's a backstory to this. This was back in 2008 when I was just a medical student. And I was asked to introduce Dr. Rohit Shetty at that time. Because I was not exposed to the world of ophthalmology so much. But my father told me it was a Sunday evening, Sunday morning, and my father told me that, do you want to take a drive in Aston Martin? So I was like, Dad, why do you want me to wake up on a Sunday morning and just see Aston Martin? But because it was Aston Martin, I was like, oh, it's exquisite. So he said, that is what Professor Shetty is. And I want you to just come and listen. Maybe you don't understand ophthalmology so much today, but just listen, and probably he'll simplify it to the dot so much so that you will probably be more inclined towards ophthalmology. And I was very, very happy because the first presentation that I had seen in ophthalmology was X-Files that was presented by Dr. Rohit sir. And I was just in awe of the talent that this gentleman had, not only in terms of the subject, but his presentation and the way he communicated, and he made sure that the point gets across to people. And this is the same slide from 2009, where I had introduced Dr. Rohit Shetty as akin to Aston Martin, and he still holds true today. He's Vulcan today. He's getting better with time, and most importantly, he is making people better. He is making lives of his mentees better. He's making them more able. And then this is just small thing. I was just looking what is the role of a mentor. That is what sir is to most of us who have known him personally. He is a trusted advisor. You close your eyes, you know that he has got his best interests at heart for you. You call him at morning, you text him at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., he'll have a message that tell me how can I help you. You are his fellow, you are his ex-fellow, you are a colleague, you are from a small city in Jharkhand, he will still be available for you. That is how approachable that he is, irrespective of the age, irrespective of the gender, irrespective of the background. He is there for every single person. And I think that is what a true definition of a mentor is. He is a superhero. He truly is. For somebody who has known him personally, he really is a superhero. He's literally like Superman. He's like Kent, who is sitting in the office working, but once his glasses are off, he is somebody who works tirelessly. I don't know how does he get the energy to work. He's working twice the amount what half of his age people work with. And I'm sorry, I'm going to drag this introduction a lot because he needs that introduction. He people should know what he is. And I'm really sorry for dragging this introduction a little longer, sir. Most importantly, this is what he is. He's a faceless man for people who are representing him. If you see the residents and the fellows, he will push them ahead. He will try to tell them, do not sing praises. He will make sure that they are visible. He will make sure that their work is visible. And he will just remain in the background and tirelessly work. That is what Professor Shetty is. Um, and I personally call him the miracle worker. Worker being the operative word here. He works tirelessly. He starts from probably 5:36 a.m. Works till 2 a.m. If you text him in the middle of the night, he probably will be awake and respond immediately. And most importantly, if you look at these cog wheels, the first step, the first cog wheel starts with him. A lot of people ask us, what is your secret ingredient? As an NN fellow, I would definitely abide by this. Our secret ingredient is sir. He was the first one, in fact, and I want to celebrate this. It's been 7 years. He was the first person to be a translational clinical scientist in the country. And he has been so humble about it. I just want to celebrate this. It's just been 2 days that we had this. He had received his PhD 7 years back. So I want to celebrate this moment. And I am extremely grateful that I am being a part of this. People who are witnessing this are extremely lucky, because it's very difficult to get hands-on with sir, a hands-on discussion with him, be it personal or professional. He's always there. So with that, I think we will move to the discussion.
So
Thank you
Natasha, we are
so
very
much,
lucky,
sir.
huh? We are
Oh,
very,
we
very lucky
absolutely
to
are,
have
sir.
him today. Yeah.
I can't put it in words. It's just impossible, and it will not do justice. Words will
In-
never do justice to
I
describe
know,
him, sir.
I know. In fact, I was at loss of words, but you put it rightly. The man behind the whole the same show, Narayan Netralai, Dr. Rohit Shetty, and we adore him for that, and that is why I requested him. And in fact, I was there. He said, "Nahi, Dr. Tasola, let's finish the AIOS, and then we'll be able to do it." And there he is accepted, and he's very much here. Thanks, sir, for accepting the invite once more. Over to you, Natasha.
Sir, so I would want to
Unmute, sir.
actually.
Unmute. Just to unmute. Yeah.
So I wanted to actually start with this. I don't know if you remember this when I had come for my interview. The first thing that you had told me is that you have to be a sage and a hermit. That is going to be your mantra if you want to achieve something in the field of ophthalmology. So what do you think? Does it still hold true today, or the definitions have changed?
First of all, thank you, MOS, Maharashtra Ophthalmic Society, and thank you, Dr. Jignesh sir, Dr. Rajesh, and Natasha for the most generous introduction. I think I don't know how much of it I really deserve, but it makes your ego better, and you have sweet sleep. So when we talk about any training, it is about conditioning yourself to a particular set of life you're going to lead in your life. So when you start a training, there are two sets of people. One, as a training, they just want to go back and make a living. The second, they want to go back and change the living what is being what they don't want to see themselves in, say, 10 years, 20 years. I'm sure you're one of the second half of people who did not want to see the living, what people normally do, like just go back to your work and practice. And of course, everybody has everybody has to make money, to survive. So when you talk about trying to live like a sage in a hermit, it's all about how do you condition yourself to live the rest of your life when you are when you are put into multiple situations. It's not just for your academic purpose, but being a sage in a community, like in your case, or many places, being a mother. When you are a mother, you have to be a mother. You have to be like a mother. You can't be like a surgeon there. When you're a surgeon, you have to, at that point, you're just a surgeon. So a hermit it's a conditioning of your mind. So when you condition your mind, that is where I think there's a huge definition difference in today's context, what mentor is used or what a teacher is used. I think this whole program is about mentor-mentee relationship. So I think it's the most important thing is about defining what is a mentor. Mentor is not just a teacher. It's used very extremely loosely in context. And I see everybody talking about so in my mentor. Just because you spend years, 3 years, 10 years, it doesn't make you a mentor, or you don't become a mentee. If you really look at some stories of mentor-mentee, it's not the time you spent with your mentor which makes you a good mentee or a good mentor. Mother Teresa's mentor was Father Michael. Father Michael, she spent with him just 20 minutes in a bus stand when both were waiting for a bus in Rome. That's all. They never met after that. And he became her mentor. Steve Jobs mentored the Facebook Mark Zuckerberg. They just went for a walk. William Buffett mentored Bill Gates for just 2.5, 3 hours. But there are people who've been with each other for a decade, but still they have never reached the stage of mentor-mentee relationship. The reason is not fault with the mentor or the mentee. The reason is how you define that role. So when you don't define that role, then your entire program becomes a failure. I know Dr. Jignesh sir has a vision to create a mentor-mentee. So the definition is probably the most important one, because in 2022, I see it used extremely loosely. I see it in my own fellows also. So you have been my mentor. I said, no, I was never a mentor for you, because you never bothered to be in touch, nor did I bother to be in touch with you. I'm meeting you after 5 years and I don't even know what you're doing. So how does that become a mentor? A mentor, you can say, is my teacher, which is very important in our profession. If you don't have a teacher or you don't have a mentor, then you lost something. All of us have mentors. Like I said, mentors are not somebody where, you'd have to spend, you can see somebody in a YouTube and that person can be your mentor, especially for us as surgeons. So defining the role of a mentor is very important. And what is the role of a mentor? By definition, to me, a mentor has to be available all the time. Of course, you did mention, not that I'm available all the time, but yes, try to make it. If you are not available all the time and somebody has to take email appointment with you to talk, speak, then that whole thing does not exist. You can still be a great teacher, but you cannot be a mentor. So teacher is one who imparts knowledge. A mentor is one who inspires to reach something which you have never dreamt that you will be reaching there. So the mentor's role is not just teaching, but also pushing you beyond your limit by giving you countless, yes. For example, all of us in this group, I'm sure, would have watched the Kung Fu Panda. It's a classic. In a very subtle way, it gives you, it's a mix of Buddhism, Shinto religion, a lot of Chinese principles, and laced with Hindu and Jainism concepts. It's a mix of all philosophies somewhere or the other. If you really look at in the initial part, this Master Uruguay is a mentor for Shifu, right? The teacher.
Yes.
Yeah. And for him, he was a mentor because he never pushed him to do anything, but he just made sure that he will take up the job of training the panda. But in the initial part of training, he was not a mentor to panda. He was a teacher to panda because he was just pushing him. He was just training him. As the movie changes its shape in the last part of it, you will see that the teacher unknowingly has become a mentor when he pushes him to do things he could never do it. And that is a beautiful part of this whole relationship. And that is a part which I think we all have to understand, that all teachers cannot be mentors, and all mentors can have dual role of both the mentoring and teaching. So what I would like to say is that whoever is listening here at this point of time have to make sure that you have to make out or reach out to your mentor, because your mentors have the same wavelength. It's like a radio station. If you tune your radio to a particular station, it will catch it. And trust me, somebody will catch it. And the mentor need not just be your teacher. Again, I'm saying, repeating the story, Mother Teresa's mentor was for 20 minutes in the bus stand. And that changed her life in Rome. The second thing is about, one is available. The mentor should have an analytical approach, not the standard book, because the book approaches are always boring. Otherwise, people will not get inspired by you if you are going by exactly the same thing. But it has to be not too radical that you deviate from it completely. So that's the role of a mentor, and also the mentee has to accept that these roles keeps changing. And the third important point is, which I try to inculcate from listening to a lot of biographies by big mentors of the world, is they have to be good listeners. So they say there are 3 A's of being a mentor. One is you have to be available, you have to be analytical, and you have to be an avid listener. When I say use the word avid listener, it has to be uninterrupted listening. It could be your personal problems, it could be your emotional problems, it could be your failures, what you had in life. Or you could have gone through multiple challenges which only your mentors can pick up. For example, somebody doing a lot of work but doesn't get the results. The person needs somebody at your same wavelength. You can go and cry at home. You can cry with your parents, and your family, but they will just console you, counsel you, but they have no idea about what you're lost, what you're losing. See, because you may say that I didn't win a best paper in a meeting, say MOSCON. So they don't have a clue about what MOSCON is. But your mentor will have a clue what MOSCON is. So that person will try to use your analytical approach after listening to you carefully. and available to you and try to fix it. This is what I feel every mentor should do. So when somebody says that I'm mentoring so and so, I should also be very clear that am I available? Am I analytical enough? Or am I giving enough time? I'm listening to this person. Just a fancy word does not usually help. And it is very important that the role of a mentor is just not about training, it's also to make sure that you're trained in all conditions. There's a very famous Chinese proverb, it's one of my favorite. It says that it is better to be a warrior in the garden than to be a gardener in the war. So just if I have to repeat this again, for everybody's sake, it is better to be a warrior in the garden than to be a gardener in the war. That means even if there is no war, you can practice so much that you can still do a simple work like gardening, rather than just sitting and saying that there's never going to be a war and I'm just going to be a gardener. And when you have to really face the war, you have no idea how it is. So what it means is, if your mentors, whether in your professional life, at whatever age you are in, or in a postgraduate, is trying to push you to a certain limit, it means that the mentor knows that you have certain things in you which can withstand that amount of heat. Your melting point is not reached yet. The time your melting point comes, you'd be so strong that your melting point threshold would have increased without your knowledge. So it's important that all mentees, when you surrender yourself to somebody who can mentor you in whichever form it is, you have to understand that your thermostat of melting point is going to be increased. There's going to be a seismic shift in your understanding of what you were and what you came through. In the same line, there's one more statement which says that you'd rather bleed in your training than bleed during war. That means you may have small cuts in here and there, it's better. So my advice here is, before we open up for discussion, is that mentor has to define himself clearly. If he's not defined, according to me, these three things. See, now I've reached, say, 20 years of doing. I'm mentoring people to become a mentors now. And so many times I keep telling them, if you're not having these three things, you'll never be a mentor. And people will never take you seriously. And it'll never happen overnight. And most important thing is about what I said is, if you take somebody as your mentor from the mentee's point of view, you have to be complete trust in the process. You have to complete condition yourself, like Natasha said about, you have to be a sage and a hermit. I'm not just saying that only from academic or surgical point of view. You can have multiple roles. And again, remember this, it's better to be a gardener, better to be a warrior in the garden than to be a gardener in war. So irrespective of why you are being asked to do this, the question is, when somebody asks you to do an ECC, you just do it. If a mentor asks you, stop questioning, why am I doing ECC when my friends are doing FACO? Because it's preparing you for the eventuality when you probably have a challenge, when others will not even know how to do a suturing, and you can do whatever case you get, you can do the procedure and come out of it. Because that amount of trust, if you don't have, then this whole mentor-mentee relationship is just a very beautiful word, which unfortunately in today's context used very loosely. In fact, I keep telling that, if I feel that you're not worthy, please don't use that word, because it's going to dilute it. And if you dilute it, real mentor-mentee concept will become a very stale word. So use it properly only if you have been in that relationship. If you're not been in that relationship, then don't use. Then you can always say he's been my teacher, he's been my guru, whatever. I mean, just not guru, teacher. So this is my introduction to the whole definition of mentor-mentee before we move forward.
Very nicely explained, Dr. Rohit sir. My idea of having a mentor-mentee is what exactly you said, but I was not able to put it across the way you have put it. The 360 grooming in all ways, he should be available 24/7, and that's why we kept it online. Not like a fellow, okay, you go and sit with him and do that. That will be more like a teaching. I said that is available in the any of the institutes. So I said whether it is a personal or a professional, or it is say running in a OPD, there is a problem. For a software, there is a problem. The vendors to buy, how to do the professional things. Even in life, there are such a lot of situations which are coming up. So with that concept I had in mind, we have taken it. But I wanted more detailed explanation. You rightly said the way you have put it across is much better. You opened up the whole vistas of mentorship. Natasha, over to you.
So you mentioned the movie Kung Fu Panda, and you described Oogway, and you described Master Shifu. So what would a mentor expect from Panda? I mean, what would you expect from a mentee? Is it hard work? Is it grit? Like, what are the ingredients that a mentee should have, so that it's more fruitful, or a person can be more receptive. I know you said you have always told me as a mentee that learn to surrender to your guru, and you will be on the right track. Just have blind faith. But other than that, so what should a mentee have, and what should a panda have, basically?
See, most of the real strong mentee-mentor relationship follows the traditional, very old aviation rules. I mean, this probably was used during the time of hot air balloon. It says, plan as you fly, fly as you plan.
Achha.
Okay, so the question is, I've never seen somebody in the beginning who would have a pen and paper and say that, okay, this is how we are going to do. So I'm sure the same thing happened when hot air balloons were made. That's why they said, I think this line is there in around the world in 80 days, where they go in a hot air balloon. It's say, plan as you fly and fly as you plan. So you have to fly. So you start flying. When you start flying, like I said, it's a very strong wavelength a particular individual would emit. If the mentor is truly a mentor, this is a very important thing, because if the mentor is not at all interested in the job of being a mentor, then his radio is off. Then how will you receive the transmission? If you don't need to receive a transmission, then both your receivers should be on and the mentee should also have the transmission. It doesn't take time to get that. So I feel Uruguay in this movie, probably his radio was on, internal radio was on, and Panda in some way was releasing the wavelengths. And that's what it said. And Master Shifu's radio was off. So he couldn't see it. But a beautiful relationship occurs there. Uruguay is Shifu's boss, is master. You said the same thing. It's about surrendering to somebody more knowledgeable than you to take the path. So when Uruguay said, you trained Panda, he did not argue. He did not like it. If you watch the movie, he kept thinking that there must be something wrong. But he said, I will do it. He said, this is a big lump, useless lump you're giving me to make him into warrior. He never argued. There's no argument between them. There was never an argument within that. So if you really look at it, if you ask the best mentors, you cannot pick them up. And when you try picking them up without your antenna off, you pick once. You get attracted to this person. You know that there is something which is attracted to. Somebody gets attracted because somebody is a good surgeon. Somebody gets attracted because he has a good way of teaching. But it's all across the world. So it is just that antennas are all on. So way we do it is, see, even in today's context, as we speak today, and we may have around 14, 12 or 13 of them, but I would say I'm mentor for only 2 or 3 of them. For rest, I have a very good teacher, because when I say I'm very good teacher, I'm not doing my best. What I'm trying to say is that I am doing the job which has been given to me in the best way I can. And that best way means I am answering to my own conscience that, am I doing it good? Am I making them good? Am I making them, when they leave the fellowship, am I making them go with a sad face? Are they happy, joyful? If they are, that means my job as a teacher is done. But my job as a mentor is not done, because I did not take them as my mentors. So when they say that I'm their mentor, or anybody's mentor, I'm speaking here, it is the wrong word, because I was never their mentor. If I'm not their mentor, it cannot. So it's not being harsh here. It's just that we both did not have that wavelength. There's nothing wrong in not having a mentor. There's nothing wrong it's not that you need to. It's like saying that, is there anything wrong in not being married? There's nothing wrong in not being married. But if you're being married, you'd realize that it's ups and downs, but being married is also an important thing. So what happens is, it's just that we did not have our wavelength fixed. So that is what the answer is. And I don't think you'll ever find a mentor who says, no, I take a pen and paper and I write it out. There's no pen and paper. Plan as you fly and fly as you plan.
So one more thing, we get such varied, you may be getting such varied students. So then, like, how do you decide, like, what would be the right path for somebody, as a mentor and a mentee, for the ones that you are a mentor for? How do you decide what is the right path for them? I mean, not everybody may be intelligent, not everybody may be hardworking. So how do you, but when you look at personally as your students, it comes across they're a whole package, and then they do everything, they know everything, and they are such a good, I mean, we all are such good representations of you. So how like, what is the personality that you look for in a mentee?
The personality not just for me, it's a general thing about what a mentor looks for. When somebody does it with fear, he or she is doing something for completing a task because there is fear in it. When somebody does with lots of joy, and they might have messed at work, it means that they've done it with joy and they really love what they're doing it. And that is the first antenna signal of a mentee to a mentor. I'm doing something with lots of joy, not because I'm fearful for you. And that is extremely powerful thing which cannot be missed. And if somebody says that's what I said, if a mentor has the 3 A's in him, 3 aces in him, available, analytical, and an active listener, if he can use this antenna in his radio of 3 A's, there is no way he or she can miss this trait. And the classic trait is with fear. I'm doing something, I'm completing something because I fear that if I don't do it, so and so will get angry. That is the first trait of somebody being extremely, they're just saying that I'm just guarding my back. That I'm not interested in what I do. I'm not interested in what I'm doing. I'm not interested in what is going to happen with what I'm doing. I have no clue about it. But I just want to do it today because I don't want to be in trouble. So that means you off the radio. And with that person, you off the radio because, to be very frank, I'm sure Dr. Jignesh would have mentored many. You are mentoring some people. It's a very strenuous job.
Absolutely.
It's not an easy job. If you have to be available all times, if you have to be analytical all times with whatever they come, because they trust you. Your decision is important for them. They said, sir, should I just do this or not? In that state of mind, you say, do it. And that person makes a big mistake. For you, it's nothing. For that person, the person loses your trust. Tomorrow, they'll think 100 times to ask you. And if you're not listening to what you say. So it is important that this trait has to be picked up by the mentors always. And the mentees had to make it very clear that if they want, say, you as a mentor or Jignesh sir or anyone in this group as a mentor, they have to find a wavelength of what makes my mentor really happy and proud. Is this just doing her work? Finishing a case sheet before 5 o'clock? Or sending out, making sure all patients, if the mentor needs the patient to be cared, mentor needs. So, if you want something, you have to make an effort to it. If you want to have the right person in your life, whatever way, you have to put that effort. And only then I would say the magnetic wave starts transmitting between you, and that's how it's worked. Like I said, all that who passed out cannot be mentees. And recently only I was telling some of my fellows, please don't keep telling you are my mentor and all that, because I was not. It's not. I'm not trying to be rude or arrogant here. What I am not, I don't want to claim for it.
Correct.
So, if there are mentors in this group or the mentees in this group, this is a very, very important part of your conditioning.
One important question I would like to ask Dr. Rohit sir is, there are a lot of, all mentors are not like you. Okay, they are 360 degrees, they do a proper grooming and all. They have a lot of shortcomings. How do they overcome the shortcomings? We have created a super mentor group for seeing that they try and solve it at that level, because there are people who are, the maturity level is quite different while grooming a mentee. What will be your advice in such cases? How to overcome it? Whether they should refer to their own colleagues, or they should go to the specific professional group who can help solve their problems with the mentees. There are certain things where the XYZ, the mentor won't have an answer. So how do we go about that?
See, at least 60 to 70% of the time, the mentors don't have answers to a lot of things happening in mentees' life.
Quite right.
Professional, whatever, and personal. So it's about, that's why I use the word analytical minds.
Okay.
You both sit and figure out, okay, I can't handle this. We both can't handle this. Now, who is the best person who can handle? So when you have this kind of a mentor-mentee program, make it like a very strong bonding where they know each other very well.
Correct.
So sometimes, you just randomly give some 1 or 2 people, and they both have never know how their wavelengths are. So whatever they're trying to do with a lot of, I would say, efforts.
Pressure. Yes.
There's a lot of peer pressure. There's a lot of things. Okay, I don't know whether I'm a good mentor. You don't know what kind of a mentee you have. So times these things fail. But however, there are times you meet mentors. Again, I tell the story of Mother Teresa. with somebody who sat with you in the bus stand in opposite Vatican, and you became a mentor. So that means that 10 minutes is enough for sometimes, but sometimes 10 years is also not enough.
Right. To gel the wavelength between the mentor and mentee, that the way you said, antenna and the transmission should be so right, yeah, you can fit the bill. That is how it is. Quite right.
And sometimes, the mentor and the mentee both in your program should have a right to say that in a very personal way, that you don't both match your wavelengths. So then you see, it's when it's unhealthy, there's no point taking the relationship for life.
Yeah, it's pulling along. Correct. Just pulling along. But how do we decide that? Because we need, see, we have two people who don't know each other and they're coming together. Because of the maturity, we are assigning one person to it. How much time should we give for a person to decide whether it goes on in and out? And how do we evaluate this? If this mentor is fit for a mentee or the mentee is fit for a mentor?
I think you should allow the mentee to choose at this point of time.
The problem which comes is, like, suppose me, Natasha, and you are there. Majority will choose you only, so you will be flooded with the mentees.
No,
I
you
wanted by the Guru Shishya Parampara where 1-to-1 will be there, so they will be really able to concentrate and gel well.
Yeah, but only challenge is do you have those mentors who fit in this criteria?
Yeah, now that you have said all this, we have to reevaluate the whole thing and see
Exactly.
into it. Quite right.
Exactly.
Because I'll be more like a teacher rather than a mentor, what you rightly said.
So when you use the word teacher, see, it's not, I'm not trying to demean a teacher. Teacher is, and 70, not 70, 80, 85% of my role to my people even today is being just a teacher. And I'm a
Correct.
very good teacher. I do my job, what is being given to me. But how you pick up, it cannot be randomized. It cannot be rationalized just randomly. So that will not work. They will not, like Natasha said very well, that you need that trust, you need that bonding. You need to you need to be extremely good to share things which you know that this person is going to help me, not just going to just laugh at me.
Sir, coming to that, the way you said Mother Teresa and the Archbishop, whoever met, well, they didn't know each other, but they
No.
gelled very well. So now, once we have assigned, you never know who's going to gel very well in this. Once they have a talk, that is what exactly I want, the time period for them to gel or decide whether we go ahead with this or we change the mentor or the mentee. How
3
much
months.
time should be
Three,
there to 3 months?
yeah.
Okay, that's a good thing. Very nice. See. Do you, the way you said, these are the 3 points. Other than that, do we have some evaluation system? Because it's a novel concept, never done before. It's an online mentoring. They are not going to meet each other. Of course, mutually, if they agree, they can meet. But otherwise, from our side in the program, we have said anytime, everywhere, 364, 365 days, 24/7, you should be available for this mentee. That is the only condition we have had. And of course, we have taken 15 years, 20 years down the line who are experienced as mentors. That is the criteria I have kept it. Other than that, speciality wise, I have created a super mentor group. So, what more should be done in this?
I think you can make one of the, in a very confidential way, a Google evaluation questionnaire form, where you are or one of the it's quite easily doable. Natasha, one of them can do it, uh,
Yes,
where you send it to all the mentees and say their feedback, what they see. You have to keep evaluating after say 3 months, and every quarter you just see what is happening.
quite
And
right.
if the majority of them feel, see, everything in this life is based on statistics and majority. If the
Absolutely.
majority feel that they are extremely happy, so be it. And have a program once in 6 months, like this kind of a Zoom program,
Yeah,
and pick up say 30% of the mentees, randomly. If you have 100 mentees, pick up 30% of them, so 30 mentees, and ask them to give a talk about what changed them during this time. Good, bad, or ugly is okay.
Absolutely. Good idea, sir. I think we are planning it that way only. But I'll add to what you have said. The mentee should also be picked up. What about the mentors? We should have the mentors also involved or no, not required?
Can be involved, but in a very supportive role, not a primary role.
Quite right. Yes, Natasha, she has a lot of questions for you.
So, you said one of
Before she
the.
asks, one sec, Natasha, just sorry to.
No,
There are
go ahead.
about 37 people in the group, leaving 4 of us. There are about 32. If they want to ask question to Dr. Rohit Shetty, either as mentors or mentees, please be free. Just have your virtual hand up. We'll give you a chance to ask. Yes, Natasha, go ahead.
So one of the things that you mentioned, of the three ingredients, one of them is being available. Now, I know for a fact that you probably sleep for less than 4 hours in a day. You are active throughout, be it from traveling from NN1 to NN2, having research meets, doing patients. As I remember that you used to come to the clinic, you did not have a single morsel of food and you used to just run to Girija, give me all the files. I want to see all the patients immediately. Your priorities have been very different, sir, when it comes to working. And I think that is what also a mentee picks up on. But most importantly, I just want to know, in your busy schedule, actively and passively, you have trained all of us, not only professionally, like not only in the mannerisms, how we talk to our patients, but also having a calm mindset when we are talking, having clarity of thought. Most importantly, how do you make time for all of this? How do you make time for mentoring in your schedule?
See, if you are trying, I mean, again, my answers may look philosophical because you're asking me, so I have to tell the right answer, not what is in the book. So if a mentor, a true mentor, wants to make this mentoring as a part of his agenda and not a part of his daily routine, then the mentoring is a failure. So I have never looked at it as an agenda, but I look at it as a part and parcel of it. 90% of the time, I've stopped people to train what they should do. When you are close to 30 years, when at least I try to mentor people at a fellowship level, it should stop that you should start and train them that, okay, you read this, you do that. You have to be the mirror. So that's one of the, again, second antenna. When somebody resembles you in your surgery, small thing, your work, in the culture, in the philosophy, what you stand for, that means that this person is worthy to be mentored. When somebody is doing it for the sake of being scared of being punished, or you have to make a compartment in your mind that today is 2 hours of mentoring, then that is a completely wrong thing. You ask the painters, the Renaissance ones today, you ask singers, when do you do riyaz, when do you do practice? They said, we don't have time. We don't have put the time for it. If you see, if this is like any other form of art. If you put in time to it, okay, between evening 5 and 9, I will sit with you. That means that you as a mentor is taking this as a job. That's why you compartment. And your mentee also thinks that my mentoring is only between 5 and 7. The rest of the time I'm just on my own. So my most important take-home point, all the mentors or would-be mentors, future mentors in this group, is do not fix time for it. You start doing it. First few mentees, just allow them to see you what you do. Allow them to listen to what you do. Allow them to attend your presentation and ask them to just see how you talk, how you present. And ask them, or when you write something on your social media, let them see that and do it. And let them write, let them figure out, this is how it has to be written. Or this is how I need to use. This is how I need to use a language. English is not our first language. So everybody has to learn the right way of language if you want to grow up. How do you have to have somebody who can mentor you on this. And mentoring has to be, and I mean, I'm sure some of my fellows are listening and some of my fellows are listening. Mentoring is all about picking up things unconsciously into your thing. If it's done consciously, then it becomes teaching. So I'm very, very firm on this about teaching and mentoring. So what you learn unconsciously, your mannerism, the way you dress, the way you speak, the attire you have, and what you are. I mean, it's being a doctor today in 2022 is like acting in one of the movies.
Right.
The best actor gets the best cake.
Yeah.
Or if you want to make a blockbuster, you have to behave like the best actor there.
Right.
Skill everybody has. To be very frank, in today, 2022, it's impossible not to have a basic skill to do a cataract. It is impossible not to diagnose a retinopathy, LASIK, everything you have. What differentiates your movie? So whenever I go to my OPD, I think that, okay, this is my movie for the day. What mask do you wear if you are making a movie? You cry with people who are unhappy with something. You are a hero to some. You are a villain to some. You are a very consoling person. You evoke all kinds of response, and you have to wear that mask. And this has always been my new mantra, that I am going to make a movie. And I keep telling my staff, I know at home you might have had a problem. You'll never see an actor showing his side of trauma when he's acting a comedy scene. God knows what could have happened just 5 minutes, 10 minutes. He might have got a phone call, or he might have got a divorce from his wife, or breakup from his his partner. But they just act the part they're given. 2022, being a doctor is about acting the part, what you're supposed to do, not along with your skills, along with your surgical thing. And if you want to make a blockbuster movie, this is the way to make a blockbuster movie. And this is the only way.
My question to you, Dr. Rohit sir, is breaking the ice. Now that this is in the infancy, it's just a month old program. I keep getting messages on the group. कि भाई ये phone नहीं उठा रहा है, he's not picking up, and the other person is saying we got this thing. So how does the mentor calls up, mentee calls up? How do they gel with each other in the initial phase? What is your pulse of wisdom in such case?
It's going to be very uncomfortable if the two people are not from the same group or institution or not work together. That's what I said. See, for example, if I don't know, say, Dr. Natasha, I will feel odd to give a call at some point of time. But if I know the same person, I worked for 3 months, you know that this is how it works. At 12:30 in the night, you get an idea, you send a text. And you get a reply back, oh, if you are awake, we can call, we can talk. So, but this whole barriers are going to be tough. And then, of course, then there'll be issue of gender, and you need to be okay. If you don't know each other, then all that issues keep coming up about personal space, time. But when you know each other, that gender, the space
Vanishes.
vanishes. To be very frank, I tell my people, I never do. I mean, for me, when you're with me, I don't even know whether you're male or female.
Correct.
Me,
Yeah, that's true.
if I'm angry, I mean, I'm not going to say, okay, I need to have the etiquette of dealing with the women. Nothing. It's the same. If you
Correct.
mentor and mentee does not have a gender in medicine. If it
Correct.
starts, if, for example, you look at the best mentors of musicians, and the proponents of, say, praise Ravi Shankar, or recently we lost the sitar maestros, Pandit Shiv Kumar.
Kumar.
Yeah, and all of them, if you look at their legacy of people they've created, it just doesn't exist. So what happens is, to reach that, to become comfortable with all these barriers of multiple things and all that, it takes around 3 to 4 months time. And somebody not lifting the phone, it's all very, very common, because nobody is trained. It's not like getting an MBA degree of how to be a mentor.
Correct.
And even whatever I'm saying is also maybe not what works for me, may not work to
For the other person.
I mean, it may, I mean, if she, so it's just about, like, again, I'm saying this, being a mentor is, you plan as you fly and fly as you plan. And the charter, the compass will itself start showing. Otherwise, last 20 years, we wouldn't have been doing what we are doing today, at least me. I'm sure better mentors, more seniors than me, Dr. G.N. Rao's and Badrinath's and Honor. You worked with all of them. And
Yes.
I mean, now if I ask you the same question, when you looked at a mentor of yours at some point of time, irrespective of whoever it is, don't you think that both your wavelength of radio matched, and that's why you clicked the way you are today?
Absolutely. Quite right, sir. That matching
So,
has to be there if you have to gel, and unless you gel well, you're not going to follow up the mentor. You won't have the trust and all. Quite right.
and mentor is not just, okay, I finished my fellowship, goodbye, and all that. Mentor is all
It
about
is a
you share.
lifelong relationship.
Exactly. And that's what I said. The present people who call mentors, I kind of extremely unhappy with that word, because, it is not the word to be used. Because,
Correct.
just 2 years you are there, call mentors, get some, if your mentor is well known in the field, then people recognize you. I mean, you using it for your own reasons. I mean, it's not something, I mean, it's okay. It's nobody's right. I mean, everybody can, but because you're conducting this mentor-mentee, I'm stressing it, the definition of it is completely different. Even in Sanskrit, the definition of a teacher and definition of a guru is different.
Yeah.
As per the stokas, as per the correct laws of all that, you look at why is it called Upanishads. Upanishads were, and because it was supposed to be said in low voice, and when somebody is sitting low, so that it has to be heard from ear to ear. The definition there is different compared to what Bhagavad Gita was, where Krishna gave it to. That is a mentor.
Correct.
You just don't teach. You are part of that person in that war, or in pleasure, both.
Absolutely.
So
So rightly said.
So every single part of knowing, that's what I said. When you watch this movies or whatever this, you just look at it from a super. But when you look at it, I always wonder how beautifully that Kung Fu Panda's 3 people like Uruguay, Master Shifu, and Panda have been. The relationship has been so nicely told for a person actually looking at it. For a person on a superficial, it's just the tortoise there, And that's this Shifu who's acting, who's been traumatized by this panda. But here I'm saying the Uruguay, when they told Shifu, the Shifu never questioned him. I don't know if my memory of right is that movie. He might have just had a few feeble, but he did not try to push saying that you are wrong, and that means that trust was there.
At this point, that I really want to mention this. This is during the first week of fellowship. You had given us this homework in one of the evening classes, probably third or fourth day of my fellowship. You said today's homework is go watch Kung Fu Panda. That was our homework. So it's just a lot of nostalgia. So I'm sorry to interrupt you, so I just had to say this.
Like I said, for all the people watching, go watch the movie called Chariots of Fire. It's a very old movie. I don't know where you're going to get it. Again, it's not a mentor and mentee. In his case, his wife takes the role of a mentor very beautifully, because he's a marathon runner. A lot of things in that movie. He becomes a gold medalist, Olympic, very inspirational figure. But at one point of time, he's so unhappy that he's losing, and he comes to her and he says, "This is my last race. I'm never going to run it."
Oh.
And she says, and that is one line can make from a simple friend, wife, teacher to a mentor. She says, if you're never going to run, then how are you going to win?
Wow.
So remember, such strong words. And from that moment, unknowingly or knowingly, he became a mentor. She became a mentor.
Correct.
It's beautiful, the whole stories of it. We have so many philosophers who've been great teachers, but they're all individual teachers. But the real mentors should create more mentors to teach. Like, say, Natasha tomorrow becomes a mentor, or one of my other fellows, who has become a mentor. That is the power of the original mentor. For example, Socrates' student was Plato. Plato's student was Aristotle. And Aristotle imparted all his training to Alexander. So what happens is, the beauty of it was that the mentor created his mentee to be as good as him or even better. See, when you see these three names, Socrates, Plato, Aristotle, all three have so individually strong, you don't even know who was whose mentor.
Correct.
On history, if you look at the whole chronology, Socrates trained Plato, Plato trained Aristotle, Aristotle trained Alexander. So that means that in your program, if you make a mentor train a mentee, the mentee is not going to be a mentee for life.
Correct.
You have to create a Plato somewhere.
Correct.
You have to create Aristotle somewhere. You have to create an Archimedes somewhere.
Correct.
So what you have to be really strong is that, say, if you really take this forward and you look at the chronology of how it changes, say after 3 years, figure out how many of these mentees actually becomes mentors.
Oh.
If not created them, that means you have failed in your role. For example, Uruguay creating a mentor in Shifu, and he creating, if Kung Fu Panda next version of it, he becomes a mentor. The whole
the concept is successful.
That is what Socrates used to train. See, you have to be. So the whole concept of mentor-mentee for Socrates and Plato was, he never trained Plato. He never used to sit. He used to see if this is how you do, and he encouraged them to think, and never left him down when they were going through tough times. Right. So, have I answered all your questions? I think
yes, In fact, I am so happy that we had you today. In fact, you have such a clarity of thought on this mentor-mentee this thing. It has opened up a new vista in my mind. Of course, I am going to continue this. I have already said during the opening session itself, okay, it is going to be perpetual, not a 3 month, but the way you said, we are going to have an evaluation. We are going to take a call on that also. Thank you very much for sparing a very precious 1 hour of yours with us and guiding us on this mentor-mentee program. A big thank you. Natasha, also you, the way you conducted the whole session with your teacher or a mentor, whatever you say now. Sir has now changed the whole definition, but whatever it is, it was fantastic. In fact, this is going to be golden words of wisdom for all the mentors. I'm going to put this as a recording for people who have missed it because of some reason. कुछ मजबूरी है तो of course they'll of course take a leaf out of this and see that this program of mine becomes more and more successful and that you take it in the right spirit. And the mentees who are there. Yeah, do you have any questions? Anybody would like to ask, sir? Can you spare another 5 minutes? Let's open up for the.
I'm completely free. I'm just
Okay,
worried
okay.
about ending.
Yeah. Anybody, any participants, if you can just open up, say hi, hello, and ask the question one by one. We have with us the mentors and the mentees both. We have Dr. Archana Bare. She is also mentor. Dr. Usha Johri, ma'am. She is a mentor who is joined. Dr. Sharad Bohmaj is there. Anybody would like to ask? She is absolutely covered the subject exhaustively in that 1 hour. It's like a Bhagavad Gita for us.
It is.
Yes, Dr. Archana.
Yes, it was a very nice, nice guidelines is put forward, and we'll try to follow his guidelines, and whatever problems we have, we can discuss them later.
Absolutely. That's what I just said, the golden words of wisdom. Everybody is going to take a leap out of it. And of course, a mentoring will be very, very good. We'll have more of him. Of course, if he agrees, I'll like to have another session maybe next month. As
Yes,
we
sir.
come close to the evaluation, we'll like one more session on that with a different set of questions. It's almost 10 o'clock. We have consumed almost an hour of yourself, sir. Anybody else? Dr. Usha Johari, she is the past president of Bombay Ophthalmic Association and a very, very active lady. Dr. Usha ma'am and Dr.
Yeah,
Deepali Patil.
it's Dr. Rohit. It's been a great pleasure to have you with us, of course, and a lot of things to learn from you. And as you rightly said, that unless mentee and the mentor they're comfortable with each other, which should start right from the beginning. If that comfort zone is not there, just to give an example, I have been calling up my mentee every day. He's based in a place somewhere in in a small place ahead of Calcutta, and I have been making him very comfortable. I've been talking to him. I've trying to find out what is his area of interest. Then he told me about Botox. Then he told me about oculoplasty. So in fact, I have read about the squint surgery, although I'm not a very good squint specialist, but at least the basic things of squint, I told him to present a case. Let me, listen to him. I told him also how he has to present the case. And today at 9 o'clock, he was supposed to present a case. And then we were supposed to discuss with each other on a Zoom meeting. And I reminded him at about 8:55 that, are you ready with your presentation? And I'm sorry to tell you that I have not heard from him. It's not that, I mean, unless the mentor and the mentee are equally committed to each other, it doesn't work, I think. It doesn't work. It's not that, if a mentor is a teacher. In fact, let me tell you, even a mentor is learning a lot from a mentee.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we have also had it in the past,
Yeah.
where there is a lot of, and the mentee suddenly starts feeling there's too much of unwanted. It's like, sometimes it's like parenting, your kids, you push them,
Exactly.
they
Yes,
think,
yes. Exactly.
they,
Exactly.
they don't,
Exactly.
because the kids don't understand why you're doing it. But by the
True.
time they really reached our age, then we'll realize, okay, our parents were so right. But,
Yeah.
oh, but it takes a lot of time to
Yeah.
realize that. So
And
sometimes,
doctor, yeah. Yeah.
if they really don't, if they don't have that thing, then it's best to just let it go. Like I said,
Exactly.
it's like
Exactly.
if things, you see, the problems come when you're trying to push something which is already has an expiry date and it's
Correct.
expired. So
Exactly.
what is
Exactly.
expired, it cannot be it
True.
cannot be just used.
And right from the beginning, if you know what your mentee is interested in, see, Dr. Rohit Shetty knows very well, because I'm from the same institute, Minto Hospital, Bangalore, where Dr. Bhujang Shetty was, one of the most favorite classmate of mine. So what has happened is we are like general ophthalmologist. The super specialty has come in now. So when he told me about Botox, I started reading about Botox. When he told me about the ptosis, I started reading ptosis. So it was like a refreshing memory for me, also refreshing me also. So there was nothing like pushing or pulling or anything of that sort, isn't it? So I personally feel that a mentor learns more from a mentee, when we know their interest.
It's, to be very frank, the role of mentor mentee keeps reversing after we see. After sometimes, it's very difficult to know who is a mentor, who is a mentee at that point.
Exactly,
Quite.
exactly.
So
True,
because you suddenly realize that we're switching roles, and
true,
sometimes
true.
so it is just that in the initial phase, it's very sometimes very uncomfortable.
True,
We don't
true.
to that uncomfort feeling is so much that you just sometimes people let it go. I don't want to get into this. It's useless because
Correct.
every mentee of yours within a year can't be a Nobel Prize winner, right?
Right. Right.
Exactly, exactly.
Whatever that when Mother Teresa was 20 or 18 years old when he met that person. So she took 50 years to become Mother Teresa, what we know.
Right,
So if
Right.
you
Right.
really look at the whole chronology of it, takes a lot of time.
right.
Right.
Yes.
Right. We have Dr. Saurabh Patwardhan also with him. He is actually a very good teacher. Saurabh, uh, he has just put up a message, very inspiring, Dr. Rohit Shetty's talk. So,
Uh,
can you come up, Saurabh?
yeah, hi sir. I always try to attend whenever Dr. Rohit sir is there because I think he is an inspiration and a role model for many of us who want to become mentors in their lives. I think
That is why he's here today. Yeah. Saurabh,
Yeah, hello.
yeah.
Yeah, Dr. Taswala.
Bolo na, sir is
Ah,
listening.
ah. So what I felt is in general with this MOS mentor-mentee thing, most of the mentees are interested more of in practice development kind of thing, more than the technical or subject
That's
skills. They are more interested in uh, the day-to-day difficulties in their practice. So I think it's a bit difficult.
I think it's
And
so because the question is see, there are times, like I said, it's if you feel that you're good in practice development, your mentee wants it, so be it. But if you feel that you are not a practice development person, but you are more like you yourself are not very good in practice, so you should ask the person to find somebody else. Like basically, what I say is, not never try to fit in to a size which is not ours.
Mm.
not that way. I mean, maybe they're just in a very initial stages of their practice or something, and they have a lot of limitations. So the things which you can suggest to them are also very limited.
Yeah,
That kind of thing.
yeah, I understand. I mean, we
Yeah.
also are going through a lot of those things. It's little difficult. For
Yeah.
example,
So I thought that if you have a mentee of your own subspecialty, I think it's more interactive and useful for both.
yeah,
That's
but
what I felt.
I'll give you an example. There is one of my, I would call her my mentee also in AI. Came and told me that, sir, I need to buy an OCT and my budget is 13, 15, whatever, 15 lakhs. I said, wow, I never, my autorefractometer cost me 20 lakhs. So suddenly start thinking, because we are being an institution, we never look at, okay, suddenly we have to, okay, I said, give me time. So exactly like what Dr. Usha said, I went back into AIOS and went to a lot of those booths, and I kept asking, and they kept, sir, why do you want this? This is very low basic. I said, I want to see the basic because I want to know. And then I came back and said, I don't want to mention the company, or you know what, I just checked, this company is good, but this guy, what he's quoted is very high for you, but you can renegotiate and do it. So there are times we have to,
Juggle around and learn
yeah,
ourselves. Correct.
because we are used to saying, I mean, just not trying to patter, but used to saying, okay, we have only used Heidelberg's, one of those stellar, one of those. I think somebody says I have only 12 lakhs or 13 lakhs. City, it takes time and efforts to do it. So I think sometimes, even if it's not your domain, if you want to be a mentor, I think let's put in effort. I'm sure all of us have reached that phase in life where we do have this time, a little bit extra time to do a little bit of searching and help.
So nice, sir. I think everything good things have to come to an end, and we have utilized such a lot of time of yours. So I now have a formal thanks from our honorary secretary before we sign off, and a small video of the enrolled people who are giving the technical support from day one. Over to you, Dr. Rajesh Joshi.
Yeah, that was a really wonderful talk. It's always a pleasure to listen to Rohit sir. Your talk was really inspiring to everyone, I suppose. I totally agree with you. Mentoring should be in a casual way and should not be tightly bound, and it should come automatically. Your talk was enlightening for all the mentors and mentees as well. I hope that this talk will give definite boost to MOS Mentor Mentee program.
Absolutely.
Thank you for sparing your valuable time and interacting with us. As usual, Natasha, you were wonderful in conducting the session. Thank you all for joining, and thanks to Entod for the technical support.
We'll have a quick video, sir. 1 minute video of the enrolled people before we sign off.
Before we go to the
thanks a lot.
video, thank you, sir. Before we go to the video, I just have to say this. I'm quoting Naina ma'am here.
Yeah.
Naina ma'am, after the meditation or during the meditation, chakra meditation, she says, there are moments when your heart chakra opens up. So this 1 hour has been purely that. It has been very meditative, sir. Thank you very much for that, really. Thank you.
This is going to be a gold standard for all the mentors. We are going to put it on the YouTube as it is. All our MOS programs are there. But also both these groups, mentor-mentee group, is going to be a big lesson to everybody. So nice.
I thank Natasha also. I'm happy that you still have the radio with the same bandwidth to pick up the...
Thank you, sir.
We have also with the same wavelength with you, sir.
Thank you. And I thank Entod also for supporting in all these academic events. Thank you.
Yeah. Quick, Sayyad, quickly you just go through it, please. We have the quick gallery view shot. Can you have all the videos on, Rohit sir? Is he there or has he left? Natasha?
Yeah, sir.
Sir is there? Anyway.
I can't see him, sir.
I think we'll have this thing. Anyway, we'll have the gallery shot. Even if it's not, we should have taken it earlier. Hello, Sayyad. Let all the mentors, mentees put your video on. We'll have a quick gallery view shot before we sign off. 2 minutes. Can you tell him to rejoin, sir? You can just send a message. Just hold on because he should be there, no, for this program. Just call him up, na? 1 minute, just. Quick.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So his phone is not reachable. I'll just leave a text.
Okay. Anyway, we take one gallery view shot in case he joins in. We'll have a quick one. Otherwise, leave it.
Hello.
What happened? Is sir joining?
Dr.
So
Rohit has
sorry,
joined.
sorry. My internet was a little slow here because of rains. Please, I can hear you now.
Yeah. Just, sir, can you keep your video on for a sec? We are having a gallery view shot for our posterity, for our YouTube also. And
It's quite patchy, so I don't know whether it's come. I'll send my photograph.
Yeah, about 10 seconds of video on also. We'll have a quick. Sayyid, be ready quickly.
Yeah, sure, sir.
Just give me a minute.
Yeah. I would request everybody to put your video on, whoever has joined today. Quick gallery view shot we have, and then we have sayonara.
Yes, done, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, yeah, thank you very much, sir. He's there, na? Sir has been there.
Yeah. Thank you. I was there.
Yeah. Chalo, thanks a lot. Bye and
Thank
take care. Good night, sir. Big thank
Thank
you once more. Bye, everybody. Good night, Natasha.
Good night, sir.
All of you. Rajesh, thanks. Usha ma'am, Saurabh. I hope everybody is there because I don't see many of them have already left, but it was a fantastic session. Enjoyed it. We are going to put the recording and on the mentor-mentee group so people can go through it once more. Meghna, I can see. Reshma is there. Anyway, chalo, take care. Good night, everybody, once more. Bye, ma'am. Sayyad, you give me the